Hello and welcome to Breakfast Central. Thursday it is. We're counting down to the weekend, and we wouldn't stop but bring to you the latest stories concerning news and current affairs. Big news, big things happened while you were asleep, and it's our duty to inundate you, and not just that, but also to give you some of the biggest stories with detailed analysis. My name is Joe Hansen, and I'm saying good morning.
And I'm Gbenga and Joe. Welcome to Breakfast Central. Like I always say, you've made a very good decision. Your first great decision this morning by tuning in to watch us this morning. We bring you the best insights on the latest news happening across the country. And this is the best place to wake up to with the some of the news you might have missed overnight. We have a bumper package in store for you today, as always. You're welcome. But Joe, before we get into wake up conversations proper, I just want to talk about some things I've observed in Lagos. You know, we're broadcasting from Lagos, even though we have our Abuja studio. It's always good to mention that to drop it once in a while. Lagos State, they're doing a fantastic job. I've been seeing them working round the clock to fit street lights in places that used to be notoriously dark, and I'd like to commend them for that. And also appeal to Lagos State government that when you have the drain ducts from the Lagos State Ministry of Environment that take out silt from the gutters, if you don't clear them immediately, there's no point, because you've reduced the size of the road, it's causing traffic, and the silt is just there on the side of the road. So the point of clearing it is to take it away. So if they do that, it will be nice. It would also be nice for them to fix the potholes on many of the streets in Lagos. But I'm sure they have plans for that. How has your commute been since that very hectic day?
Well, the update is Lagos State has eventually made life easy for those living on the Lekki-Ajah axis. They stopped the construction work after so much cries and shouts. They said it would be postponed up until January when they would resume. But it is stopped. The contractors have cleared their trucks. They've taken out every single obstruction or barricade, so people are now moving freely. However,
freely on the bad road.
Freely on because it's still a worrisome journey whenever you embark on that. Still potholes. This morning I hit a big one, and I couldn't help but shout and say, "Oh my goodness!" The fact that
you should have studied the pattern by now.
This is brand new. This is brand new. This is a brand new one. And by the way, it's raining on the island. I'm shocked it's not raining on the mainland. This is a new one, and I said, "Oh my goodness." Yes, you're right with the lights. We could see that Lagos is...
Or even on that axis.
Yes, new ones. They're installing brand new ones. The old ones are still there, but they've left them. They're now installing new ones. And the road is looking brighter, which is very good.
For security and safety,
for security reasons. And also, just for living.
Yeah. I mean, it's a normal thing.
It's a normal thing. It's light. I remember when the Governor Mba put the street lights and the people took their chairs.
I think it was Alex
Oti.
Yeah, they went to sit on the street.
And they went to sit on the street, and they were happy and all that. When people are happy like that, you wonder, but this is normal abroad now. This is normal in other countries. It is just because, like we say, we have been punished.
Yeah, the people have been getting the short end of the stick.
Exactly. We've been punished with bad leadership and improper ways in which we do things. But then again, I like the fact that we say, well done to Lagos State for mounting the street lights. Your report is now going to
after
go to
about six, 7
your
months.
report will now put it in the cooler so you can rest. If it goes back to what it is,
we'll
bring it back from the cooler and take it out there. But good one. But in terms of the road, I think they need to pay attention to the roads. They need to be fixed. Fixing shocks, getting new tires all the time, it's expensive.
And the cost of living is becoming too expensive for the living.
Oh, but the SSA to the president does not agree with that statement. I'm talking about Bayo Onanuga.
His realities are different.
Yeah. I mean, he put out a tweet yesterday He was celebrating the progress made in terms of the GDP and the conversation we had. And he said, congratulations to the president. He said, Nigeria is becoming more greener. And that statement he made received almost all the comments he got under that statement. About 9 out of 10 persons were telling him, listen, you don't really know the reality. It's obvious that you don't know reality. Don't forget, too, that one of the things that we need to also mention to the SSA, because obviously we do hear that, I mean, the news platforms are a good place for each and every one of them. Just in case you're listening, remember that you had rebased the economy. So you cannot really tell. That is, I'm not an economist, but I can tell you that for free. That, this is.
But I mean, we spoke to Mr. Muda, Dr. Muda Yusuf. Yes, he's an expert, and he said, look, it hasn't trickled down.
It hasn't.
There's still household inflation, and people are still struggling to meet up to basic necessities. So, I mean, we commend them for the growth, but there's still more to be done.
I want to say, instead of me personally putting it that there's still more to be done, I think there is something to be done. And that thing is that we need to come off our high horses thinking that, okay, we're in the elevated position, so we can look at them and say, okay, everything is fine. No, come down from the high horse. Come down. Walk into the market space. Remember, just a few months ago, we're hearing Ebin Pawao, while driving.
It seems there's a disconnect between the government and the government.
Yes. I don't know those who talk to Mr. President, but I think they need to let him know the truth. And the truth simply is, they need to let him know that a tin of milk, a sachet of milk, what it used to be before, is no longer the same. They also need to let him know that the cost of housing, accommodation, is the biggest challenge now of every single Nigerian, especially if you live in suburb areas or urban areas, I beg your pardon, like Lagos. If you go to places like Abuja, Port Harcourt, ask anybody. They will tell you the rent prices are high.
It's astronomical. But let's get to our wake-up conversations. I mean, just the last 48 hours, we thought, this was going to be a slam dunk. The majority of Nigerians did praise this move. They said it's one great move that Mr. President has done. However, when he went to the Senate, it was a different kettle of fish. It was good for 3 hours. What am I talking about? General Christopher Musa, Nigeria's Affairs Minister nominee, faced a tumultuous Senate screening yesterday, with lawmakers, especially Senator Akpabio, rejecting a proposal to let him take a bow and go without thorough questioning. The session turned rowdy as senators insisted on rigorous scrutiny, citing the country's acute insecurity and pressure from the United States President Donald Trump. General Musa, during his screening, expressed regret over the persistent insecurity, calling it very unfortunate and emphasizing the need for a whole-of-society approach, combining technology, community vigilance, and coordinated security responses. He also highlighted unregulated mining as a major source of funding for criminal groups and stressed the importance of accountability within the armed forces. Let's take a listen to General Christopher Musa, retired, at the Senate.
I was here, sir, was as a military man. Today, I'm standing in here as a retired general. To God be the glory, sir. I am General Christopher Musa, retired, the 18th Chief of Defense Staff, Armed Forces of Nigeria. Standing here as a great honor to present myself as nominated by Mr. President as the Minister of Defense of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I was born, sir, 25th December 1967 in Sokoto. I spent my formative years in Sokoto before I went to the Nigerian Defense Academy as a member of the 38 Regular Course. I was commissioned in 1991 into the Infantry Corps, and I've been there all through my career. I've had the privilege of serving my country. When I got to the Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, for me, is a defining moment because it gave me the privilege and understanding of the dynamics of the challenges confronting our great nation, Nigeria. And standing here, I pledge to give my best in ensuring that Nigeria is secured and safe. But we cannot do it alone. No single individual can do it. No single parastatal can do it. We need the support of everyone, every Nigerian and everyone living in Nigeria, working together as a team. Because I think one mistake we make is we think the armed forces can solve all the problems. The armed forces solution is just 20-25%. Majority has to do with good governance, building capacity, working together with all the other MDAs. So we need to harmonize all this diplomatically again, our neighboring countries, Cameroon, Chad, Niger, Benin Republic. We need to also reach out to them because if they're able to secure their own borders, it means our own borders will be secured. And it also brings me to the issue that we have on the issue of whether genocide or no genocide. We're all victims. Everybody is being killed. Everybody is dying. So that's why it's important that we must work together. And it is when we allow them have gaps that they penetrate. They don't care who they kill. These are a bunch of evil people that are on drugs. For whatever reason, we must stop the killings. Nigerians must not be killed, or anyone in Nigeria.
I feel we should just allow this gentleman to take a bow and go. Not carry. There's not. This is it. Most of the questions are security questions. Most of the questions are security questions. Not at this time.
It's noted. I did not say rejected, but noted. The reason I say so is that the man standing in front of us could be regarded as a solution to the current insecurity in the country. And we are not here on our own. We are here representing our constituents. And our constituents would like to hear from him whether his appointment will enable them to sleep well, whether their children will be safe in schools. So we are not asking him questions because we don't like him. We're asking him questions because our constituents would have loved to ask him questions at a time like this. So if we come here and we do politics of bow and go, this is not a period we should say bow and go. Even Donald Trump is on our neck. We have not yet asked him what his response will be to Donald Trump, the President of America. He is not just anybody. Chief of Defense Staff, a nominee for a Minister of Defense of a country, and you stand up and say you should take a bow and go, with so many questions on the mouth of Nigerians, with over 200 Nigerian children in the bush, kidnapped and being tortured. His appointment is heralded all over Nigeria with happiness because Nigerians believe he has something to offer. Give the man an opportunity to give Nigerians hope.
Would you, Musa, I hope you would know the difference between your office now as a minister and your previous office as a defense chief of defense staff. If he doesn't know, you can go and teach him.
A whole lot happened.
Yes, and
so much drama yesterday.
It was good to hear from. I'm glad the Senate President prevailed over that senator that raised a motion that he should take a bow and leave on self-recognition, because it's one of those things we see occur at the Senate where ministerial nominees come for clearance, so to put it that way. But it's good that Senator Akpabio did prevail and say, look, let's question him, because the senator that raised the motion, it was on the grounds of national security, that we're discussing security issues here. It might be very sensitive, and I don't think so. It's not going into strategy and specifics. He's speaking on a surface level. He's talking about the problems, which is obvious to everyone, and strategies that which it would use or the nation should deploy in ending terrorism in the country. So it was, I think it was better for him, for Nigerians to have a feel of what the new Minister of Defense is all about, his capacity, where his head is, and his ability to communicate these policies to the people and also the Senate. So it was a good outing for the new chief of the new Minister of Defense. Yeah, it's going to take a while before we get used to his new posting.
That's right. I mean, it's a good one. If you were to score his ability to navigate through the questions, what would you give him over 10?
I mean, I'll give him a sorry, apologies for that. I'll give him a good 8 or 9 over 10. Okay. Yeah, he did. Right. He did a very good job. And before we left, there was a clip of a senator that was asking if the minister would know the difference
between a chief of defense staff,
his new minister, and his previous position. And the Senate president's response was the most sarcastic response ever. He said, "Go and teach him."
He said, "Go and teach him."
Yes.
I don't know what to say, but I think this kind of like breathes in a life of
breath
hope,
of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air, breathes life into every single security parastatal, especially looking at the Nigerian army, because everyone. I mean, don't forget that the Minister of Defense is going to be working with all of the security or forces to ensure that, I mean, he's the Minister of Defense. So every defense force that you can think of, he has to ensure that he touches base with each of them, whether it's air, whether it's water, whether it's land,
and it's good that he's an experienced general, so he understands the nitty-gritty, he understands when it comes to equipment, the specifics of it, the technicalities, and it's not just a civilian that is overseeing the Ministry of Defense.
Another thing, one of the points he made, I like what he said. He did say that one of the things he's going to do is that he's going to take away the army from checkpoints. They don't need to be at the checkpoints. He's going to ensure that the police and the Corps and others will just be there, but the army needs to go and handle the terrorists and take care of them.
Yeah, because that's their constitutional responsibility.
Yeah, a lot. But let's see what was said as well when every single thing was said and done, the grilling and so on and so forth. Let's go to what Nigerians are saying. Neo King says, politics aside, I'll probably ask some genuinely pertinent questions. It's clear that even within Nigeria's leadership circles, there's an awareness of the pressure coming from the U.S. and a need to respond thoughtfully.
Serious pressure. Yes. That's why I said Donald Trump is on our neck.
Deji says, I hate the idea of bow and go with everything in me. You're robbing Nigerians the opportunity to measure the nominees' plans. You're robbing yourselves of making sound debates and informed decisions on whether to confirm or reject. You're also robbing the nominee the opportunity to showcase his or her expertise. Let's see another tweet very quickly before we highlight some of the points. American pressure is making our senators sound the way they were meant to sound. I like the word meant. It's only unfortunate that it had to take an external interference for sanity to be returned to our dear country. Kudos, regardless. And that's from Ghost CFC. Do we have one more? Okay, Jimmy Not Carter says, General Musa now has the opportunity to prove that his exceptional appointment advances Nigeria's security imperatives. Success demands that he move beyond the cycle of perpetual reaction that has characterized military operations for years, instead presenting a coherent defense strategy built on clearly defined objectives, measurable benchmarks for progress, and realistic timelines for achieving sustainable security outcomes across the nation's diverse threat environments. Now, this one I would say grammar, plenty English.
And one of the senators...
This is what I highlight very quickly. Will he be able to carry out his plans? I think that should be the biggest worry for every Nigerian who has seen how insecurity has bedeviled the nation in terms of growth and so on.
No one person can do it. It takes teamwork.
No, I agree.
And a senator did mention at that at the plenary yesterday that if things don't improve in
after 6 months,
they will prevail on Mr. President to remove him.
Yeah, they said whatever it is. That's why it's confirmation. The confirmation is looking like it's going to be like a probation for 6 months. Just
I
like
wish
work.
I wish they did that to other ministers.
I wish
and
they did that
the
to
people that were there
even
before
themselves.
him.
Even themselves.
Yes.
They should put that in the constitution. As a lawmaker, if you haven't done anything tangible for your constituent or constituency, then after 6 months, they have the right to call you back and then put someone else
It's
there.
just that the recall process, according to our constitution, is like an elephant getting through the eye of a needle. It's very cumbersome.
Fact.
Yeah, but it would be nice if it was
Fact.
flexible.
But then again,
But another
if
point I
we
want to
have-
raise
Yeah, go
from
on.
one of the tweets we saw is the gentleman that said, "I dislike the bow and go tradition that we've seen in the Senate." And rightly so. You can't just, we need to be able to question you. But the problem is, the president sends a list of nominees without portfolios attached to them. So what are you going to base your questioning on?
Then they shouldn't have.
Yeah, so next time they should make sure that portfolios are attached before they send them to the Senate.
Anyway, let's move on to our second, last wake-up conversation this morning, because we have a lot in store for you. A heated dispute between a Nigerian music star, Two-Face Idibia, or Innocent Idibia, also known as Two-Face or Tubaba, and his wife, has continued to grab the headlines, whether you like it or not, in all spheres, spaces on social media. Natasha, that's her name. Now, this story has led to a lot of conversations. While we're not here to look at the, who's at fault, what's that, and so on, well, the situation intensified upon the arrival in the UK, by the way. A video was purportedly shared on social media. I thought it was AI at some point until I had to wait to hear what people would say about it. But the row between both of them was further fueled by differing opinions on accommodation, with Natasha reportedly requesting a hotel in central London, regardless of cost. Yes, the cost is not the problem. The incident has sparked widespread media attention, with many commenting on the couple's private matters. And I think that's where it is. But the biggest story right now is the House of Assembly, Edo State, have now delved and waded into the matter. And they're wading into the matter because Two-Face's new wife, Natasha Idibia, is actually a member. And they're talking about how it's impacting negatively on the morality, on the reputation of the House of the Assembly. And that is one conversation that the people of Nigeria, let's say Nigerians, are now worried that, okay, is that a case that you should be talking about? That's someone's private life. In other countries...
Or is it because she's married to a celebrity?
That's another thing. In other countries, again, would she have tendered her resignation and say, oh, you know what, I am not fit enough for this role because of my personal life and issues, which is starting to cover and show that, listen, because I'm not able to handle my issues in private, I'm bringing it to public, therefore I'm not fit enough to represent XYZ people. Will she do that? In other countries, it will be done so. I don't know if you agree with me.
Look, this issue should not even have been news in the first place, if not because of the Edo State.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're looking at.
Edo State House of Assembly, if they had more important matters to attend to, they shouldn't do this, because other members have their private lives. Would they say everything is rosy in their lives? No. So why are you, I mean, she's like a victim here. Why do you cherry pick? Why is she in the spotlight? Did she break any laws? No. Did she act in a way that will bring disrepute to the Edo State House of Assembly? No. People have arguments in public. She didn't conduct herself in any way that is disgraceful. So why are you raising a motion on a private issue of a member of your assembly? I mean, you talk about team spirit and esprit de corps. Unfortunately, the Edo State House of Assembly members lack it, and you expect them to cover one of our own. Another issue that could be maybe because she's a woman, she's married to a celebrity, and so she's an easy target. It's just quite unfortunate that this matter is making the news. It's a private matter, and they should allow them to deal with it as two matured adults.
Okay. Well, then that means the conversation would tilt to whether it should be a conversation that should be had on the floor of the Edo State House of Assembly or not.
Because there's flooding in Edo State.
There's flooding, there's bad road. Yes. There's also the issue of we must wear the infinity cap. That could be a conversation that, okay, let's talk. When we were appointed, when we were brought to the House, there was no clause that said we must put this on. So
or the issue of Mr. Governor promising the president ghost votes that...
I don't know if they would like to talk about
and the governor is only entitled to one vote.
One vote. So I don't know where they will get the
millions
votes from. Those are conversations.
There's also issue of Father Christmas. Yes, EBS from Norway. Whether they should stop deceiving the people or just come clean and say, look, we just did all of this. Because it's a news station. And you believe everything the news station tells you from reputation. Because you're blurring the lines when a news station tells you they just picked up Father Christmas on his arrival from Norway, and it didn't look. No, he came with gifts, and the people were very excited yesterday. Father Christmas landed in Edo State.
Gbenga, let's go to what Nigerians are saying very quickly. We'll take two of that. All right. Young African said, how does family affairs affect the State House of Assembly? Big question. That's what we're asking. Should it have been mentioned there? The House has every right to summon any of its members who display attitudes that go against the ethics of the House.
What's the meaning of attitudes?
Another big question. Gbenga, reputation and so on.
No, she wasn't fighting. She didn't break any law.
Well, Gbenga, come see, come sir. We'll leave it at that.
No.
We'll go on a quick break, but before we do, we'll bring to you what our top stories are. Plus, we do see your comments on social media, so feel free to join us. We're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and the likes. Drop a comment or two. But now, the big stories, the top stories on Breakfast Central.
This morning on Breakfast Central, Senate confirms Musa as new Minister of Defense. We will be analyzing the rising cost of local flights, which is one of the most expensive in the world. We'll also tell you that the Federal Executive Council has approved the medium-term expenditure framework. And plenary on withdrawal of police officers. This was discussed in the House of Representatives. Remember, we'll bring you the newspaper front pages where you can call in and share your thoughts with us. Stay with us. Breakfast Central continues shortly.